Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SEO and You course, right? Brought to you by Pearl Lemon and taught to you by me, Z. I'm sorry, guys. I'm super tired. It's been a very long day. It's super hot, and I've tried to record this 4 times now, and each and every time something has interrupted me. Let's hope we get through it this time. Okay? This is the start of the second module for the SEO and You series, where we're going to start focusing more on the actual implementation and things to note in SEO. The first module has been all about preparing you for this. We're covering what SEO actually is. We covered search engines, and we briefly covered SEO and SEM, or SEO versus SEM. Now we're going to start looking into things like keywords. What are keywords? Long tail keywords, short term keywords, why they're important, how they function within SEO and search engines. And now we'll start putting together pieces and adding on those to build up our foundation before we really jump into the more difficult and nuanced parts of SEO. First and foremost, what are keywords? Keywords are fundamental to how search engines work. They are the queries that people use in the search engines themselves, right? So when a user enters a query into a search engine, the search engine seeks out to understand the intent behind those queries and match them with the most relevant web pages. So think of it like this. The internet, if we didn't have search engines, would just be billions upon billions of words thrown somewhere. And we'd never be able to find out what exactly it is that we need to get. SEO, keywords, all of these things work together to sort of categorize that into a library. And whenever we need to find something, we put in a query into the search engine and it finds what it is that we are most likely looking for, right? It's a guessing game. And keywords are the terms that and users and phrases, sorry, that users use to find exactly what it is they're looking for in search bars. Okay? Keywords have a few variables that need to be taken into account when you are seriously looking at them. Okay, so those are relevance, visibility, traffic generation, and SEO ranking. More than that, keywords, and I'm going to give you some definitions, but that's not really entirely it. Here they are. Keywords in terms of relevance doesn't just mean its relevance to a web page, right? For example, if you put SEO onto your web page and you put a keyword there talking about, I don't know, honey, right? We're talking about honey on this web page, and that is one of your key focus keywords. Great. But it also determines the relevancy also refers to the fact that during certain times, certain places, certain keywords are just more relevant. As you're getting closer to elections, talks about politics become more relevant, and therefore keywords related to politics become more relevant. When we go into spring and summer, sunscreen becomes more relevant, and so keywords related to the sun, the heat, sunscreen become more relevant as well, right? So keywords help search engines determine the relevance of a web page to a user's query, right? So when you set the keywords or keyword of a web page to maybe honey in California, that's what it's going to be. So if somebody searches honey in California, your page is more likely to appear in the search results than somebody that just, for example, has honey in their in their keyword, right? Then we have visibility. Visibility, proper use of keywords can enhance a website's visibility if the content aligns with what the user is searching for. Like I just said, the search engines are more likely to display your result over any other, right? I'm sorry, guys. My voice is super tired. Traffic generation, well optimized content with appropriate keywords can attract organic or unpaid traffic to your website. By targeting the right keywords, you increase the likelihood of attracting users who are genuinely interested in your content, products, and services. All right. So basically, it's a rule in business: the majority of your clients, or the majority of your income, comes from about 20% of your clients. All right, because clients who build a relationship with you, who trust you, are more likely to come back and buy from you. It's the same way if you buy from Apple, you're more likely to consistently buy from Apple than you are to suddenly just switch to Android because you're used to it, you're comfortable with it. All right. If you have content that's always relevant, or you're in a niche where something's always evolving, like gaming or movies or music or tech, people are going to come to your website consistently because they want to get a certain experience or a certain point of view from you. All right. If you are a gamer, for example, you might search up things like IGN or Gamers Nexus and find all of these things, or look at all of these websites and go there consistently because you want to get a specific piece of content in a niche you care about. Okay. SEO rankings. Now, search engines use algorithms to analyze the presence and relevance of keywords on web pages. Websites that have effective use of keywords, titles, sorry, websites that effectively use keywords in titles, headings, meta tags, and content are more likely to rank higher in the search results. So this is where you start getting into apps like, or plugins, sorry, like Rank Math and Yoast that allow you to optimize your page specifically for these kinds of things. It's something we'll take a look at later, but for now, just know that the more you use your keyword correctly and not overuse it, the better it is for your long-term ranking. Finally, keywords are essential, or how keywords drive SEO. I'm sorry, guys. Keywords are a central element of SEO, search engine optimization. Right? Just putting it out there. The relationship between keywords and SEO can be summarized as follows. Okay, content optimization. SEO involves optimizing the various elements of a website. Right? We've already covered that before. This includes optimizing content by strategically incorporating relevant keywords. This helps search engines understand the topic and the relevance of your content. Okay? Then there is the user intent. All right? Effective SEO considers user intent. By understanding the keyword users, by understanding the keywords users are likely to use when searching for specific information, products, or services, you can tailor your content to meet that needs. Okay, let me reword this because I absolutely butchered that. When you are considering SEO, you have to think, am I trying to sell something? Am I trying to inform somebody about something? Am I trying to warn somebody about something? Am I just trying to put it out there to be viewed, to enjoy? That's the intent of the person who's putting something up online. Now, user intent is very important because, for example, if I search top 10, let's say top 10 fantasy books, I'm going to get a bunch of lists. But if I search best fantasy books, I'm still going to get a bunch of rankings, right? Ranking lists. If I just search fantasy books, I am going to start getting stuff like Goodreads or Amazon Books or Kindle so that I can purchase fantasy books. So what you are searching is very, very important for your intent. So always think about what is it that you are trying to target in your user, right? On page and off page SEO we've covered. If you'd like, please just read through that to get a better understanding of everything. Search engine algorithms, we covered those before as well. What I want to cover now is the long tail versus short tail keywords, right? These are super simple, and I'm breaking it down super simply, all right? The definition of a short-term keyword is that it's short and concise, usually only 1 to 3 words, right? There's nothing to it. An example can be shoes, digital camera, SEO, right? These are broad and general, highly competitive in terms of rankings, right? So if you are just starting your website, you want to avoid short tail keywords because they are super competitive because everybody's trying to use them, right? Use case, useful in reaching a broad audience, but competitive and can make it challenging to rank high in search results, right? Then you've got your long tail keywords, right? Longer and more specific key phrases, oftentimes more than 3 words, right? Typically 3 words or more. Examples can be best running shoes for flat feet, how to use DLCR camera, a local SEO services in my city, right? So, for example, if I were to break down best running shoes for flat feet, the keywords here are going to be best running shoes, flat feet. The 4 is there, but sometimes Google throws that out. But for specific keywords, that is the entire keyword, right? Whenever you are putting in a keyword, you put in the entire keyword, right? At least for SEO. If somebody searches best running shoes, flat feet, you might still rank, but you won't rank as highly as if they had searched the full keyword that you put out there. Okay? Characteristics. Often more targeted and specific, meaning lower competition, but you are also less likely to reach a broader audience, right? These are specific for actually getting higher conversion rates. Because if I'm operating a bakery in Cape Town, South Africa, for example, I'm not going to target somebody in Alaska or in Europe or anywhere else. I'm going to focus on making my bakery seem like the best bakery in Cape Town, South Africa that it could possibly be, right? So I'm going to use stuff like cheesecake Cape Town, right? Or best cheesecake Cape Town, or donuts Cape Town, things along those nature, right? And then finally, why does it matter? All right. Keywords matter because in SEO, right, a balance between short and long-term keywords are, is often recommended, right? As your website evolves and ages and gains dominion and gains strength in both backlinking, which we'll explain, domain authority, and URL authority. Sorry, guys, it's a plane, right? As that builds, the way you expand your keywords will too. So you will now be targeting shorter and shorter keywords the longer and longer your website exists, unless you're targeting one specific area, right? While short tail keywords can generate more traffic, long tail keywords can attract a more targeted audience with higher conversions and higher potential if you're trying to sell something. All right. Longer tail keywords are for more specific user intent, and those who use long tail keywords oftentimes have a market they are trying to serve and no one else, which is excellent. Leave the the short tail keywords for places like Amazon and Microsoft. Target your audience as closely as possible and build out from there. Right? Don't try and mass market. Try and market to those you know you will be interested in you. Remember, 80% comes from 20%. All right? And that's it, everybody. I'm so sorry. This is like 5, 6 takes. My throat is killing me. I hope you all had fun. I hope you all have a good laugh. Please leave a comment down below if you need anything, and I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.